Today we're going to be talking about Deadpool 2, so stay tuned.
Welcome to The Real Review.
Welcome to The Real Review, sponsored by Parametric and Lazy Ape Studios, where you get some of the latest happenings, real thoughts, and perspectives in the world of film and television. I am here with Matt. I've only got 2 charges. Hey.
Two charges?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody,
It's a cable line. It's a cable.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm here with Joel Catacorn Cunningham.
Cattlecorn?
Cat-icorn, like a cat unicorn.
Is that cat? I'm trying to picture that.
Sorry, anytime I open my Facebook feed or something, there's that Taylor Swift video riding a unicorn cat.
I've never seen that.
You haven't? I don't know
No.
why I keep seeing that.
I don't
even follow Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift either.
I don't know why I
True
get that.
story
Anyways,
there. Anyway.
Good times.
Yeah, all right. Well, welcome to the podcast where we talk about catacorns and everything like that. Today we're going to be talking about a little film that just released called Deadpool 2. It's one of the bigger releases of the summer, actually.
Mr. Poole.
I am here with Matt, as I mentioned, and here on the podcast, just a little refresher, we like to give our perspectives, our views, our opinions, and thoughts about films that we've had a chance to see over the last little bit. Matt kind of has a bit of a fan-type perspective. He tends to be more like that, emotional, friendly, excitable, and happy-go-lucky, I would say,
More optimistic.
Optimistic is a good way of putting it. I tend to be a bit more of a curmudgeon, kind of more statistical and breakdown kind of guy. I tend to be a little bit more serious and kind of thorough. Not thorough, that's not a good way of putting it, but
Negative.
A little bit more negative, probably a better way of putting it. So we put those together to give you what we think is a real thought and a perspective, and we are on this journey with you to discover more about film and media. We want to learn and new picture videos, ideas, things, concepts, bring those all together. And as we're doing this journey, we're encouraging you, our listeners and watchers, to join with us.
Absolutely.
Cool. Why don't you give our listeners and watchers some ways to get connected to the podcast?
Not a problem, Joel. Listeners and watchers, you can get connected with us in a variety of different ways. First of them being our website, where you can connect to everything from there, which is realreviewmedia.com. And you can connect to all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, which is at Real Review Media. And then also YouTube, which is youtube.com/TheRealReview. And you can check all that stuff out there. Get connected. You can also email us at realreviewmedia@gmail.com. Tell us what you thought about the review that we did, or if there's a specific movie that's out that you want us to check out, do it. And that's how you can make it happen.
There it is.
Bam.
Very good. Well, let's get right into talking about this film
Yes.
that we both had a chance, thankfully, to see over the weekend. I know you were a little bit unsure, but
Yes.
you managed to make it. So, we're talking about Deadpool 2. Synopsis for this. Foul-mouthed mutant mercenary Wade Wilson, a.k.a. Deadpool, brings together a team of fellow mutant rogues to protect a young boy with supernatural abilities from the brutal time-traveling cyborg Cable. Director David Leitch, as was the first film, I believe.
No, it was Tim Miller, the first
Tim
film.
Miller, correct.
Yeah.
Tim Miller.
Tim Miller were first film, David Leitch second film.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes, written by Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, and this one, Ryan Reynolds as well.
Yes.
It stars Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson, Deadpool, Josh Brolin as Cable. We have Morena Baccarin. Not sure about that one. Reprising her role as Vanessa. We have a new one, Russell or Julianne Dennison, I should say, is his name.
Yeah, he's from Hunt for the Wilder
as,
People.
Fire Fist. Is he?
Yeah, he's awesome in that movie.
Okay.
Hunt for the Wilder People, super underrated movie from like a year and a half ago, 2
Yeah.
years ago. So good.
Haven't seen it,
I
but
recommend it. It's Taika Waititi.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. We have Zazie Beetz as Domino, TJ Miller as Weasel, pretty much all the regulars, Karan Sani Dopinder, Dopinder? Something like that? Dopinder. There you go.
Dopinder, yeah.
Pretty much the same folks overall. Bill Skarsgård was in this one, actually, as Zeitgeist. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in anything since
It.
Since It.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to see him in this, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I kind of recognize him.
Pennywise.
Yeah, and Terry Crews was
Terry
in it
Crews,
as
yeah.
well for a little bit, so
Yep.
it's Bedlam. So what are your thoughts, perspectives?
I have a really unique take on just this franchise in general. I saw the first Deadpool. So,
Yeah.
first of all, let me just throw this out there. My time is extremely limited, so I'm always seeing new films and new things, and I'm rarely having times to go back and rewatch things again for a second time because there's so much new content.
Absolutely.
So I saw what is, I suppose, the VidAngel version of the first Deadpool on an airplane.
Yeah.
And so it was a weird experience because I felt like there was weird gaps where there should have been something happening, and then there was weird like cutaways and then weird dialogue because I didn't understand some of it because of basically it was filtering all the language out of it. Anyways, so going into this second one, I never went back and rewatched the actual version of Deadpool. So seeing this one and knowing just through time, knowing what happens in the first Deadpool, I thought this one was okay. But at the same time, I appreciated for what my knowledge is. It felt less like shock humor to me, except for one scene. It felt less shock humor to me than the first Deadpool was going for.
Yeah.
And I like that. I hate shock humor, dude. I'm not a fan of that at all.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated that about this one.
Yeah.
Except for this one scene that I don't want to spoil. Anyways.
Yeah.
But
there was some. Yeah, depending upon what you're talking about, I would agree. I think there was a few shock moments for sure.
There's only one that I can think of that I was like, oh, what?
Yeah.
I can't even look at this.
It has to do with the X-Force. Yeah. I don't know if that's...
Oh, really? No, it wasn't that
okay.
at all.
Yeah,
that I loved.
Yeah, that whole section of just the way things play out for the X-Force was a bit like, whoa, it's a bit extreme. Yeah, but funny.
Anyways, I thought it was all right. I thought it was just an okay time at the movies. It was funny.
Yeah.
I'm a big like movie reference guy, and that's something that Deadpool does great. He references the heck out of things.
Yeah, very self-referential.
And referential to other things happening in current movies and movies that Ryan Reynolds has a personal connection to.
Yeah. And
just different stuff like that. I really appreciate that stuff. And,
yeah.
It's funny that stuff actually gets put into a movie and is canonized, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here, but there's a comic book that they actually do where Deadpool becomes so self-aware that he actually breaks free of the comic book universe.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really classic story about Deadpool, and I'm like
see them
fingers
doing
crossed.
something
I know,
like that.
I'm like fingers crossed that they build up to that eventually to the point where maybe he breaks out and he kills the director.
Especially some of the stuff that they do in the
Blazing Saddle style,
right?
You know? He just breaks out of the movie at the end,
and especially the stuff that happens in the post credits or mid credits scenes.
Oh yeah,
like I feel like if they're willing to do that stuff, I feel like they have complete reign to do whatever they want. They may just do that at some point in time.
And that's why Deadpool in a way is so fun and crazy, because he's willing. Well, the stories are willing to go to very crazy places. So I would agree with some aspects of what you're saying. I think more details would probably help me know how much I agree with what you're saying.
Right.
The big thing for me with this one is the first film was hugely about the humor, and sort of just the self-referential, but also the going against the grain of what we've known for Marvel and everything. And the humor is really what sold it for me, and it was the same for this one. I will say with this one, I don't think I laughed as much as I did with the first one. I think that's partially because I just kind of know the character a bit better at this point as far as the film style of him. But the moments that I did laugh, I really laughed a lot. Yeah. So there was real legitimate moments throughout the course of the movie that were really catching me off guard. Yeah. I was really laughing at. I think the funniest moments to me was actually the beginning and the end, like during the opening credit sequence. Yeah. And then the very end, like post-credit scene and everything like that, and a couple spots in there, just ridiculously, awesomely hilarious. I think personally, and we're not going to talk about it right now, I think we're going to do a little bit of a spoilerish talk
later on. Yeah.
The post-credit scene for this film is probably within my top post-credit scenes of all time.
Yeah, it's really clever.
Yeah. So in regards to humor, that's kind of my opinion. I think action-wise, they kind of upped the ante a little bit with some of the scenes with this one too. Mm-hmm. There was some better fight scenes at times because Deadpool's
double the budget is the last.
Yeah, they had more characters fighting. They had more kind of set pieces kind of going on. Mm-hmm. In particular, the last fight scene with Juggernaut was pretty awesome. I thought it was ridiculous at the same time, but it was in dark and humorous. But pretty good. And the scene where they were doing the car chase was pretty cool too.
On that transport.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty awesome too. And the fight scene in the prison was actually pretty good.
Yeah, all that stuff that you see in the trailer for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, my favorite part, or sequence is the excitement that Wade Wilson goes into in recruiting the X-Force.
Yeah.
And then his excitement about what's going to happen with his first mission with the X-Force and how it transpires.
Yeah.
I was laughing out loud. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I really liked that part. Was really, really
There
good.
was just so many there was like just little touches of like, wow, I didn't see that kind of happening or come, like the part with Peter.
Yeah.
Who's on the X-Force. I'm not going to spoil it, but as far as like he submits the headshot and it's like not even him.
Yeah, like it doesn't even look like you.
I forget who it's another it's an actual actor.
Yeah.
I forget the actor's name. I think he was on Seinfeld. But he's just a complete, and it's like the fact that he would even submit himself, but then he would submit with a different person's headshot, and just like the whole, and there was numerous moments like that where you just like, that's so stupid and ridiculous, and then it would just happen. I definitely think Ryan Reynolds nailed it again with this as Deadpool.
Yeah, apparently he was born to play that role because he matches his Wade Wilson to a T, basically. And,
yeah.
I did really enjoy Cable, but I think my favorite newcomer is Domino.
Okay.
I did like her a lot. I think that I wish I could have gotten more of her. Honestly, I feel like there's that whole sequence that kind of like you finally see like her powers in action kind of a thing, and you're like, that's interesting. I'd like to see some more of some of that. They did another one at the end. I thought was cool too. But I think she did a great job for just as far as the actress is concerned. But we need more like grounded people typically in a world of chaoticness and not very realistic as a person as like Wade Wilson is. And I thought she brought that, and I thought Cable brought that. I liked both of them a lot. They're more just a straight person to the very contrasting Wade Wilson.
It's usually like that. I mean, Deadpool is the craziest of the crazy sharks in a pool of, minnows of non-craziness. I'm just making up metaphors here.
As they say.
As they say, he's the shark of craziness and minnows. Yeah. I liked how Russell was handled in this. I liked how he actually kind of, even as a kid, you could tell he just had this like, kind of like his eyes would get big and just like this craziness would kind of come onto his face at times. And I was like, that actually seems realistic, that he would turn into this like crazy older adult person. And I just liked his character because of that. He was almost like this lovable, like homicidal, friendly person. It was weird. And I thought his character was fun. I thought Domino was okay. I think she and Cable were about equal to me as far as like, my appreciation for them in the script. I was kind of like, okay, they fit for this film and I'm happy with them. And as far as seeing them moving forward into the future Deadpool films, I'm like, okay, you're going to have a role in them, but as far as how significant it needs to be, I'm neither here nor there. Trying to think what else. TJ Miller was good in this. He can be a little bit much at times.
He's one note. It's kind of how he was in the first movie.
Yeah.
He's just there to like kind of bounce like ideas off of Wade and to say quippy one-liners and to always comment on how ugly Ryan Reynolds looks.
Yeah. So I thought they gave sort of I felt like they had a good balance between new characters and old characters. It felt like they gave the old characters the right amount of time, dialogue, screen, updates on where they're at. And then they gave the new characters the right amount of time as well to me, and I was comfortable with that. And I could see what you're saying about Domino maybe having a little bit more significance in the plot, but I don't think they could have done what they did with the X-Force and that's where her story would have probably filled out more time, is if they had just brought her in and she had been part of the X-Force, you know what I mean? But because they had to build up the whole team and everything, that kind of took some of that. But yeah, I really enjoyed it overall. So do you want to get in a little bit of spoiler talk?
You wanna rate it first? Or actually, I have a couple of like maybe negatives.
Go ahead.
So I'm thinking maybe what didn't work about this movie to me compared to the first one, or what
the VidAngel version
is it felt kind of muddled by too many things happening potentially.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go, like I was just like, there was a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
I felt there was a lot of people, a lot of stuff happening, and that was the beauty. And I realized the beauty behind the first one being much lower budgeted in a smaller cast. All that stuff allowed for a lot more depth and kind of more single mindset path taking, I guess.
Yeah.
And this one just felt like there was a lot of like what's going on. And also there's the intro credits. I can't talk about that yet. Never mind. But yeah, it just felt like too mushed. Like there's too much happening to me, and I felt it for some reason. And the jokes, a lot of the one-liners didn't land as much for me.
Yeah.
As well. But other than that, I thought it was all right. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was good, not great, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. What would you give this thing?
I'm going to give this one an 88.
Okay.
So B+.
Yeah, I'll give it an 82.
82.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't have that same... it felt cluttered a little, maybe, but it felt like everything was in there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the jokes didn't land. Like that's fair to me.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the jokes definitely didn't land as strongly. I think some of that just comes from like you're more familiar with the humor style now.
Right.
The jokes didn't... Some of the jokes didn't feel quite as intelligent as others.
Right.
Like, when... I can't spoil it, but
we're going to get ready to go in that right in a minute.
So let's get into that. We'll go into the spoilers now. If you don't want to hear anything about Deadpool 2 that we haven't, spoiled, we don't want to spoil anything for you, just turn it off now, turn the podcast off. We're going to get it in here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Wade Wilson dies.
Yes.
Sort of. Not really. Yeah.
Vanessa sends
X-Force,
him back.
pretty much the entire X-Force dies horrifically.
That was my favorite part of the movie.
Except for Steve.
My absolute favorite part of the movie.
Yeah. That was horrible, though. He comes back and he saves Steve, or Peter. Sorry, I said Steve. He saves Peter, but he lets everybody else die.
I know.
Like, why would you let everybody else die? Just tell him not to jump out of the plane. Like, that's all you have to do.
I love in the plane, before they jump, how excited he is to be on this team, and he's telling everybody how excited he's he's getting all emotional and worked up. I'm just so excited.
Yeah.
And everybody jumps out and everybody dies.
Just dies horrifically. That's the shock. That was the real shocker to me.
Yeah.
It was actually the way that Bill Skarsgård's
the baby legs one. That's the kind of shock humor that I don't necessarily like, because I was like, okay.
I thought that was kind of funny because they did the whole Sharon Stone thing was pretty funny.
It was funny, but I was like, I don't know. That's never really been my cup of tea. But
I gotcha. It was a taste. I think that's why it wasn't too much to me, because it was like you only really get that one moment where anything kind of came through.
Yeah.
So I thought that was ridiculous but funny. The X-Force scene was definitely the worst. We should talk about, I don't know if we want to jump right into the end.
Yeah, sure.
Like the post-credit scene.
Let's do it.
That was probably one of the most funny, ridiculous things I've ever seen. I mean, for him to go into pretty much his entire
filmography.
He goes to filmography, like his bad filmography set. I mean, he kills himself after Green Lantern's been written.
He kills the Ryan Reynolds as he's looking at the Green Lantern script, and he's like, this is going to be the big one.
It was building in the ridiculousness, because, first of all, he got the time portal thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Time machine watch.
Yeah, I'm like, well, he's just going to go back and save his wife, and he does that. And you think, okay, well, that's it. You know what I mean? And then he goes and he saves Peter.
Right.
And then he goes and he kills Deadpool.
Deadpool from X-Men Origins Wolverine.
And as soon as I saw him, the pan up thing, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're going here with this. And that was so hilariously ridiculous.
And then he goes back even further and kills himself.
Yeah, and so it's now it's making you wonder, well, what's the next movie going to look like? Are they going to legitimately, is his wife going to be back alive again? Or
here's the thing, because it breaks a lot of it creates a lot of paradoxes. If they do that.
Because I don't know if they're treating it like it was just a post-credit sequence, or if legitimately that's part of the story.
Right.
And if so, people are going to be like, wait, what, how, because I guarantee you there's at least, 5 or 6 people that probably didn't stay for those post-credits and just walked out, and they're going to be like, I thought she was dead.
Right.
Maybe they'll give you a throwaway line or something.
Yeah,
in
but
Deadpool 3.
I'm hearing there's supposed to be a lot of deleted scenes. They actually filmed a few more post-credit scenes.
Oh, did they? We stayed all the way to the end.
One of them, they they didn't tack it on because it was a little too much, basically, because he makes a line earlier about going back in time and killing Hitler as a kid.
Oh,
and he goes back in time and strangles him as like a baby.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
And that would have been really dark.
Yeah.
But I was like, but anyway, that
I
was.
could see him doing that.
Yeah.
But that would have been really dark.
Yeah, I probably said I wouldn't want to see, babies. Anyways, and then, but yeah, there's supposed to be a bunch of other ones. Like they were supposed to be, they were trying to work out the rights to get, they wouldn't have called him Captain America, but get Chris Evans to come audition for the X-Force.
Oh, really?
And like do some quippy way of talking about him being Captain America, but not really being Captain
That's pretty
America.
funny, yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. They could have gone ridiculous. Like if they had the right time and budget, I mean, they could have made almost an entire movie of Deadpool doing like Family Guy style, like jumping through time.
Right.
You know?
And then I didn't care for Juggernaut. And it's kind of a spoiler that he's in the movie at all, but I think
I liked him a lot better than the original Juggernaut from X-Men 3.
I just didn't I don't know, I don't know. I felt like it was a weird thing to see him in this. I just didn't maybe he wasn't there enough or something like that.
I will say he didn't go full Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Because Juggernaut's power is not just that he's this giant behemoth thing, but that when he gets running, he can't be stopped.
Right.
And he never ran.
Right.
I was like, well, why don't you run? You know? Like, that's your power.
He did rip Deadpool in half, which was pretty crazy.
That was pretty awesome. That was hilarious.
The other thing I was going to see, a great cameo was basically all of the X-Men cast.
Oh, that was an amazing cameo.
All behind Ryan Reynolds as he's complaining about the studio not giving
he's
enough
like,
money.
they can't afford at least one or two more X-Men. I mean, where is everybody? The house is empty. And they reverse shot it, and you just see Beast just sliding the door shut.
And the X-Men. So basically what I read about that is Simon Kinberg, in the middle of filming The Dark Phoenix, shot that.
Yeah.
And then just sent it to the team to like put in the movie.
Oh, so they just like digitally inserted Deadpool into it. That works. Yeah, that totally works. That is hilarious. But that's crazy.
Like I love that they're like all working like as a team. You know, at Fox at least with that, and clever stuff.
Very clever, very funny. I liked that aspect of it. I thought, what was the girl, Negasonic?
I didn't get to see her enough.
She wasn't really in it all that much. I'm feeling like that might have been on purpose.
Really?
I feel like her role's almost getting switched out with Domino or something like that. I don't know why, but she legitimately she used her powers like twice. She was in it. She had like a total of, I think, like 4 or 5 lines.
So here's the thing. In the first one, I remember her being like super awesome. I loved her powers and the way it was used. Like she just like blowing stuff up. And this one like used her powers twice maybe.
Yeah.
The first time was more of like a self-defense thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that, and I wanted to see more because I thought she had some cool powers.
I think the one moment, there's a couple moments that got a little bit grating.
Hi, Yukio.
Yeah, that was funny to me. I think the one moment where he got the most grating was probably when he was, dying.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, you know that like he's not going to stay dead.
Right.
And they kind of, and I saw him, he's like, oh, I hope the Academy's watching. And I think he said that like twice in the movie. That part got a little bit
Did he?
too much.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Because you're like, oh, he's not going to die. I did think it was cool that he like went into the other world and got to see his wife and everything like that.
And she's like, it's not time.
Yeah, it's kind of odd, but cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't know what that place is, but yeah,
Right.
all right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Overall, I liked it.
Yeah.
Dope
Enders was crazy in this one. Like he was a little crazy in the first one, but he's a lot crazy in this one.
Oh yeah, he went full on like homicidal at times.
Yeah,
I thought his thing at the
my favorite thing is when they're auditioning for the X-Force.
Yeah,
he's like unloading stuff in the background. Yeah. And Peter's in there, and they're like, well, you're hired. And he's like, come on.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
So
and
funny.
he just kills. I don't remember the guy's name, but like the way he kills him at the end.
The headmaster guy.
Yeah, the headmaster, and he's like. He just like comes in out of nowhere, like he did he saved them.
Yeah.
He's like, I did it, guys, I did it, and it's like, dude, they weren't gonna do anything anyway.
Yeah.
So,
oh man,
yeah. So I thought it was good. It was definitely a worthy successor.
Yeah.
To the Deadpool series, and it makes me excited to see Deadpool 3.
I think they're gonna do an X-Force next. That was what
makes
I'm
sense.
hearing.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that would make sense.
Yeah.
So cool. Any other thoughts?
No, that's it.
No. Cool. Well, we would love to hear your thoughts and perspectives as well. If you've got any thoughts you want to share, any questions you want to send our way, please feel free to do so. You can reach us at realreviewmedia@gmail.com. Additionally, want to remind you of some ways to get connected to us. We have our website, which is realreviewmedia.com. We have our Facebook, which is Facebook.com/RealReviewMedia. We also have Instagram and Twitter, which are both at Real Review Media. And as always, it's spelled REEL.
Real.
And if you want to check out our vidcast, go on to YouTube, youtube.com/The Real Review.
Indeed.
There it is. Cool. Anything else, Matt?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, it's been real.
It's been real.